talk.
Yeah.
All right. What's one of the most memorable moments you've had playing in college?
Wow. Last year we played Florida State. It was a tied game going into the 10th inning, I believe, and there's a runner at third, short pop up to center field. Our center fielder, Celine Funky, made a sliding catch, came up, girl tagged, threw it home, spot on throw, caught the ball, and I dove and tagged her out. And then we went into the next inning. The game ended up ending in a tie and stuff, but it was just a really strong moment for me and just our team in general. So I really soaked it in.
Well, so you said the name Funky, and so I've had the privilege to get to know her. So what's it like playing with someone that has that fire, has that passion, and ultimately pushes people to just be their best?
Honestly, it's been a lasting impact. Obviously, she's not been here this year, but having a teammate that consistently has your back, leads you on and off the field, and is basically like a mentor, has been something that I will take with me for the rest of my life. Honestly, I could talk about her forever, but just having a teammate, just on regards to just having a teammate like her, it's something that I want to be for my team every single day.
Yeah, that's awesome. What about in the moments that things kind of get too much or whatever, what's something funny I guess you think about, or what's a memory you can think about that'll always just kind of let you...
Yeah. Okay, so normally whenever I get into the box, like Brandon Geyer says, breathe, trust, compete, but when I breathe, I count my breaths and I think of things that make me happy. So happy thoughts, I think about my dog Alma, I think about my family, I think about my mom back home, and I think about who I'm playing for in my team. Man,
so talk about family. So what does family mean to you, and does family eventually carry over to playing sports with these girls that you're with 24/7, 365?
Right. So family means a lot to me. I'm from Alabama, and I think just family in the South just means a lot more. So I feel like I've taken that approach that I have with my blood family into my team. And not only that, but I have family on my team, so I play with my sister. And having that support and love on the field is something that we give to each other, but we also spread to our team as well.
Yeah, so talk about playing with your sister. I don't have any younger siblings, and my older sister's 10 years older than me, so I don't even know what that's like. But what is it like? Is it being at home, you're ready to fight her in the locker room, or how's that go?
I would say it's a consistent balance of fighting, but also supporting one another. So we never stay mad at each other for too long. It normally lasts probably a max of 2 minutes being mad at each other, but the rest of the time is just love and support, and I know I can go to her for anything off the field, and she knows how to talk to me, she knows how to calm me down, and the same vice versa for her.
Yeah, so playing with your sister is definitely clearly a blessing, but what's it like having her there along with your teammates? Does that relationship you two essentially have carry over with your teammates to where, hey, we're just got to buy in and we got to love each other and get through it?
Oh, absolutely. It's something we've talked about a lot this year for our team. We've talked about becoming less of a team and more of a family. And I feel like me and Carmen have been able to reflect that very well, because you're not going to be friends with every single person on your team, but you can be their family and you can have their back and you can fight with them, but at the end of the day, you know they're going to be there for you. And I think me and Carmen represent that really well.
So if you had to give advice, and I love asking every player this, but if you had to give any athlete, baseball, softball, any advice to how did you get to where you were, what is it?
Wow, I worked my butt off, quite honestly. I got into the right travel ball teams. I really started, obviously recruiting process was different when I was in high school versus now, so it starts a little bit later, but I would just say, if you have a plan to become a college athlete, you've got to start early, you've got to recognize that early, and you've got to have the drive and the determination to reach out to college coaches, put your all on the field, and show your character, whether you're on the field, off the field, warming up, playing another sport, anything like that, all the coaches see it.
Yeah, that's awesome. So to shift gears, I can think back to my freshman year in a varsity game, my first one ever. I got walked, and I was trotting to first, and I tripped over my own feet in front of everybody. So what's one of the most embarrassing stories you have on a softball field?
Oh my god. Hold on, let me think about this. Oh my god. Some people will only get this. last year we were playing at Boston College, and I had just stolen like third, so I was at third, and I'll be damned if not the next pitch. Girl hits a line shot back in the third baseman. I flop back to the base. The ball goes past the third baseman, so then I have to get up, run all the way to home, and literally, I have asthma too, so when I got home, I was literally visibly like on the camera, all of it, like I was huffing and puffing, and I literally got into the dugout and had to sit down, and they're like, does she need a breathing treatment? Like, what does she need? Like, blah, 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 blah. That was probably the most embarrassing moment because my teammates still go and look back at it, and they're like,
that picture's gonna last forever.
The video will last forever, but they just dog me for it. My dad does too.
Oh, so there you go. So your dad supports you clearly. Like, what would you say to people that necessarily don't appreciate their parents pushing them,
Right.
per se?
Honestly, it was something that in the moment you're never going to recognize, but it's something you're going to really appreciate when you get older. So my dad was always my coach, always super hard on me. It was really hard finding a relationship balance between him being my dad and him being my coach. But at the end of the day, what he was doing was basically combining the two, and the love and the support that he showed me was something that took me a lot farther than I ever thought that I would get. And he pushed me just like so hard, like every single day, that like all those reps I would have missed out on if he wouldn't have been pushing me. All the times I didn't want to go to hitting practice, and he was like, you need to go, like I'm paying for this, but not only that, but like you need to work. Like all the times like that where you're just like, I don't feel like I want to be here. You know what I mean? Like why has he told me to do this? Like, like all this stuff. Like at the end of the day, all it is because like they love you, and the same can apply for like all your coaches, honestly.
Yeah, I think it's crazy to look back. I'm older now, but 10 years ago playing high school sports, and who I was then isn't who I am now, right? So like, if you could give your high school senior self one piece of advice, what would it be?
To be tougher, like just like to overcome adversity in a more like, we always talk about on our team failing forward. So it's every time you fail, you're not taking steps backward, but you're failing forward. So when you fail, you're learning from it and you're taking steps forward. That's something I would definitely go back and tell my high school self.
Never lose, we always learn.
Yeah.
Taylor, ask her what it means to be a high-level Division I athlete and how equipment plays into that, how having the right equipment plays into being successful on the field.
That was great. And I think, hey, and I'm not trying to be rude, this is incredible, but I would say that's probably good after that.
Yeah.
This
Cool.
has been amazing.
So, being a Division I athlete, what does the equipment you have mean being on the field?
I would say equipment is something that matters a lot. It's whether it's the cleat you step in, it needs to be comfortable. You can't be worried about the way your feet feel, your feet hurting during the game. The helmet you use, you got to make sure it's the right fit and it's comfortable, because then if it's not, it's rattling around. Like if you don't have the right equipment, it can be a lot of distractions. If you have batting gloves that aren't comfortable, you're going to get blisters on your hands, and it's going to affect the way that you go into the next one. A lot of coaches could be like, it doesn't matter what equipment you're using, like just be tough and like go through with it. But at the end of the day, like having the right equipment and high quality equipment is what can make you perform better as a player.
Where can they find that equipment, Taylor?
Where do they find that equipment at, Cassady?
GuardianBaseball.com.
Oh, great. Hey,